Hey. That's great with that countdown.
I love it. I love it
It's
so much.
amazing. You're just like on this streaming thing, no problem.
I know. I'm just killing it with Frankie's. Okay, here we go. And I'm getting our theme song ready.
You are doing so good.
Thank you.
Simon, this kind of bit of tea.
All right, so let's talk a little bit.
Let's talk. Great, and it'll show up when it shows up.
We'll do it when we do it at the end.
I love that. That's a great idea. So, Mirage, it's been quite a week.
It has. It has. It's been a very. I mean, hold on just a second. I'm trying to figure something out. Okay, good. Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week. It has. What's your
Well, my week has been productive. I mean, it feels like, it's that balance now in terms of COVID and production for all of us who work in fields where you mostly need to be around other people. We're figuring out like how do you safely get back to working on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and we have the convention this week. We're all trying to figure out what's happening.
I'm trying to watch that. It's pretty wild to watch right now. It's sort of crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Kamala. I saw a tweet that said, just imagine an old Jewish person trying to say Kama, and you can know how to say Kamala. Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's been saying Mamala. So I'm like,
Kamala.
Mamala. I just, and I'm starting right now to get into this thing where people need to start to really make an effort to say people's names right. Because that's part of everything. We did the South Asian women talk on Saturday, and going back and forth with Nadia, I kept messing up so bad. And I told her we could talk about it, and she was so sweet and she didn't want to talk about it, but I was messing up so badly. And I said to her, this, she was like, oh, it's totally fine. And I said, no, this is who you are. And this, I'm the one that needs to come to you. You don't need to come to me. I need to come to you. I need to do better than just being like, oh, it's okay that I'm just screwing all this stuff up.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get better at that.
Respect is something I'll be better at.
I know about Kamala. It's that I don't. Sometimes I get lazy. It's just laziness. But I'm happy because a Black woman, there needs to be a Black mama.
I agree. I do agree with that. And I'm seeing a lot of people I'm seeing a lot of discourse around like what is appropriate in terms of how people who are trying to vote Trump out of office should sort of handle who the candidates are and whether you believe that these candidates are perfect for us or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing a lot of people sort of not know exactly how to handle a situation. Is Joe Biden, if I could craft my perfect person to be president right now, is it Joe Biden? No.
Right.
And so how do we have that conversation among people who, have similar views, but also maybe people who don't? So I'm seeing a lot of people sort of discuss that. I certainly don't know what the right answer is.
Right.
Because when we're able to discuss these things, but also like, I don't want to post something that's going to make someone be like, you know what? Fuck Biden. I'm not going to vote for that dude.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. One thing that the Republican Party has going on is their unyielding, like, just nonsensical devotion to Donald Trump. So, I mean, like, we need to have that same thing. We need to stand behind a common cause, which is not having this type of leadership anymore.
Right.
If
I would actually,
that's what your belief is. Go ahead.
Right. I do agree with you. I would also just say as well, I mean, was it yesterday or the first day of the Democratic National Convention, a huge proportion of it to me felt like Republicans saying, I'm a Republican, but I don't want to vote for Trump.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's sort of a cool thing that's happening now. Is there are people who are like, I'm a Republican, I believe in Republican values, whatever those may be, but I still don't want Trump in office. And I'm, also wanting to like welcome those people. Come on over. The water's fine. You know what I mean? You can vote for Joe Biden with this water.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and there's like so much. We did your late night show tonight, and it was so dope. And one of the the pitches there was vote for potato.
Oh, and vote for laugh every time.
And then vote for tripod, and then tripod potato.
Yes. Tripod potato.
That was one of my favorite sketches. It was so fun and so fun. So if you haven't seen that, support that show. Support that theater. They're doing some dope stuff, because there are some theaters that are not doing dope stuff. And
you know what? I was actually going to bring that up as to talk about because we did have some sort of, you specifically had some experiences with theaters, things that you posted, CBS, Comedy Sports. I know you even made some posts about Groundlings recently, so I wonder if there is any that you want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, CBS. We had a CBS roundtable, and it went well. I mean, the thing is that they've made a lot of changes. They've done a lot of things that are different, and the discussion was productive. I think there needs to be follow-up. And one thing that I came out of it thinking or knowing is that we need to start putting Black women as a priority. It just has to happen because it's starting to be a lot of garbage with this whole, we're in this fight to try and get people to be a part of, I don't know, we're trying to get people to be a part of this production and that production. Right. And sure, you're hiring Black men sometimes, or you're hiring that Black friend, but how many of these places are actually hiring Black women? Right. It's not happening. It's not happening, and I'm really getting upset about it, because I just get in these modes of like highs and lows, because you start to feel like, things are changing, and then it doesn't change. So I don't know. It makes me angry. So
something that you and I were discussing earlier this week that I think is relevant to bring up is sort of the similarity between COVID and quarantine, and the situation with these theaters, which is like, we, at the beginning of quarantine, I certainly was under the impression that if I ate my vegetables, ate my fruits and vegetables, you know what I mean? I quarantined, didn't see anybody, didn't leave the house except when I absolutely had to, blah, 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 blah. We'd be over, we'd be good, we'd be on by now, we'd be back up putting shows at theaters. And similarly with the theaters, with the comedy theaters, it's like, okay, everything really started happening. We had these town halls, we had these meetings, we said we're going to listen. And then it's like so many months later, and we just keep nothing. It appears that nothing keeps changing. Yeah. So it's that balance of they're not wearing themselves out. These theaters aren't wearing themselves out. They're fine. They're getting paid for all this time that's happening. They got money to spend on people to tell them what to do. They have all these people in the community who are wanting to make change, so are giving of themselves freely, literally, free monetarily. It's not free emotionally or time-wise. So how do we, as an unpaid organization and institution, like meet them and keep the pressure up, but also not let them? It's like you in all these like movies, these war movies, they're like, well, we'll just wait them out.
Yeah.
We'll just keep up there and just like, y'all will run out of food.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Let's just wait them out. Let's wait them out. This will pass, all this. Right. And that pisses me off so much. It makes me so angry, because we go through these. I've gone and I've moderated a few town halls, and some of them have been super dope, and some of them I haven't gotten paid for, but that's me, because I actually want change. But
that's not you. That's them.
Well, I mean, I need to.
That's you doing it.
Request it, though, is what I'm saying.
But that's you accepting it and doing it because you have a big, amazing heart and you want change. But it's like, that really is a reflection of them. If you're going to be in a town hall where you're asking people to share about their experiences, and if you have any knowledge, many one of many things that's constantly brought up is unpaid labor, unpaid emotional labor. Hey, I paid to be in a class, and then someone did something racist, and I was the only Black person in class, so everyone looked to me to educate them on why this happened. So why did I pay to be in this class and then be the teacher?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's said at every town hall. So when a theater is asking you to do that, that's on them. That reflects poorly on them, how I see it.
True. It's true. I feel like when I'm in these town halls, we're not, see, this has been a week for me because I have had I've been so optimistic and so hopeful for a lot of change. And now that we've done so many of them, I see that there are theaters that are doing it for all the lip service of it. And it's like we're doing it, but we have no intention of changing. Here's the thing. Right now, you don't have a physical location. You're not, I mean, if you have any type of like heart or soul, unless you're doing like great stuff, like Bobby Oliver, super hilarious. Watch her special. I'm not even kidding. So funny. And trying to figure out ways to do this while we're socially distanced. Outside of that kind of stuff, you don't have a theater that you're working in. So anybody that's giving you their time and giving you their effort, they're doing it out of allegiance to your theater. They don't have to. They can do it themselves. They're funny. They can do it themselves. They could be on their own channel and say, hey, this is how funny I am. I already did stuff with Second City, UCB or whatever, and now look at me, I'm funny. But they have allegiance to you, so they're giving you their talent. And you aren't going to make changes to make it so they can have happiness in their allegiance to you. It's disgusting to me. I'm so angry about it. And all of the lip service and all of this, we can't change anything until we open again. And some of us might not open again. And then this whole, we don't have any money. I'm like, nobody has money. No one, including the comedians that are working for you for free. No one has money. Yet you're still putting shows up and charging tickets for virtual shows. And I'm talking to you, groundlings. You're picking tickets up for virtual shows and promoting people in the community that have caused problems and asking for money, but not giving any type of response to the call of racism in your institution, and then have the nerve to put Black faces, well-known Black faces, on your posters and in your advertisements. And also, let's not forget the Black squares that say how much in solidarity we are with Black people. That seems like it's what's hot right now. This is how you know that everything has changed, because we put that Black square up on the front part, and we're in solidarity with all of these people. But guess what, guys? That doesn't bring my dad back. That doesn't make anything easier for me. I have to work not just 100% more than someone else. It's about 500% more, especially if you're somebody who's a Black woman who actually speaks up. I'm sorry, Hughie. It's been a week.
You don't gotta be sorry. I agree with you.
I'm angry.
I know you're not angry at me specifically.
No, I love you.
Yeah.
You're like one of 3 people. Now, I'm gonna say 4. I have kids and a mom, so I'll say 5, 6. I love Jessica too.
Yeah, it's really a bummer. I mean, I think that this is part of why you and I have, talking about our focus with Hollywood accountability and about getting that document out there and really focusing on that, because then we have a piece and we'll get our community involved, and make sure something that people in the community respond to and agree with. But we can have a piece that says, this is what the community has said that they need from their theaters. This is what, from all of our time, both living it, doing it, teaching it, discussing it, whatever the case may be, like, this is what we have learned. And so y'all need to let the community know whether you're going to do these things. And if you're going to do those things, then maybe you have a chance of being an inclusive space where people can come and learn and have the opportunity to fail. And if you don't do this, then people will know. This is not a space where I can expect, because part of what we heard too is people say, oh, I went to the Second City, I went to whatever the school may be, and I thought it was going to be a space where I wasn't going to be receiving some type of prejudice. But then I showed up and I was. And here I am, just the same as if I was anywhere the fuck else. So this document allows us to keep them accountable and give them tools to keep themselves accountable. And then we as a community can be like, bro, you said on this document here that we were going to get training as students. We were going to get training for how to be better improv partners. And I didn't get that. So what the fuck? Because I paid you money knowing that I was going to get this thing that you signed.
I mean, the thing about like these kind of like changes that we're making and the things that we're doing, the things that you and I are doing, is that we both have to be loud and we have to cause a ruckus, and we have to be the people that people don't want to talk. They want to take. Oh, I was taken off of Second City's page. Now, to Second City's credit, I talked to Anthony about it. He said he didn't know why, and he put it right back up.
He put you back up on there?
He said he put it right back up.
Ooh, I haven't even been there. I gotta check for myself.
Yeah, he put it right back up. But at least he said so.
Under what? The performers page?
Performers, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, whatever. I mean, yeah, I appreciate that with Anthony, because I emailed him at 3:00 in the morning because I'm up all the time, y'all know. And he responded at 3:00 in the morning.
He has been very responsive, I must say.
Very responsive. I am.
Every time you email him, I'm like, well, that's the last email we're getting a response to. And he really always responds. And it's like always long responses. I'm like, okay, he's going to say like, okay. And he's like, okay, and here's where we're at. And this is and unfortunately, it has to be like this, but we're working on this. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm not even going to read this whole email. No, I am.
Because my emails are always like, blah, here's what I think. And then he's like, Mirage, okay, this is just, it's 3:00. I'm sorry, this won't be done until tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. He literally like, well, it's 3:24 a.m. in Chicago right now, so this probably won't get done right away, but
and I apologize for that.
And I apologize. I'm like, damn, bro, respect. I do appreciate that, you know?
Yeah. Yes, Insomnia Club, Alex. Yes. Shout out to Insomnia Club. But we like we're trying so hard, but we're the ones who have to say stuff. I know eventually this is what happens. We get silenced. Nobody wants me to moderate if they don't want to make changes. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be public with what they're saying or the things that need to have happen. Some of the things that are asked for are so simple. Invite me to your Christmas party. That's it.
I can't believe I honestly can't even believe that story that you told me about that. That's just like, so I do believe it, obviously, but I can't believe it. I can't believe that would be the case.
Why can't we treat people like human?
This is talking about a theater where there's the sort of premiere shows, and then the people who are students and are not in the premiere show aren't invited to the Christmas party, which is like so crazy.
I mean, even with Second City, you know, with the stuff with Second City invites everybody who's ever been a part of Second City to their Christmas party.
They do. They really, and I appreciate that. And what I was saying to Mirage earlier when we were speaking was that right there is how so many people move on and move up in their journey and make new friends and get to be a part of new shows. Oh man, I had a beer with Dwayne last night at Bordner's, and we talked about doing the sketch show. He thought I was really funny. Now he's casting me in something. That's the right type of networking. You get to meet people socially, develop actual bonds with them. So to keep people out of those moments, like, and also I know with Second City, something again I appreciate about them was they always gave you a drink ticket if you drank. So it's like, if you don't have money to spend at the bar, and so you don't normally go out to the bar because you don't want to spend money, have one drink on us at least. So you can walk around all night with a beer and maybe not feel out of place if that's something that would keep you away from it.
That's how I got cast in a premium show one time, is that I was talking to the director. They were like, hey, I think you're really funny, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking and they cast me. The thing is that it's a way to integrate with your community. Right. And all of this, like, I don't know. Look, look, if you've asked me for help and you've said, I don't know how to integrate with students or whatever, and I've given you this advice, I am not putting you down. I appreciate you asking and stuff like that. This is me. This is what I have to say. If you do not go and see shows that people of color are putting on, how do you expect to find people for your shows?
Right.
Don't ask me who I think is good. And then I put myself on the ledge and say, this person's fantastic, knowing that they're probably even more fantastic than that. And then you don't cast them. And I'm telling them to take a chance on you.
Right.
This idea of this false hierarchy is bull. Right. And I'm trying not to cuss because my kids are saying I'm cussing a lot. And I don't.
Are they? Is that true?
Yeah. They were like, wow, you cuss like a sailor, Mom. And I'm like, no, I don't. And they're like, sometimes.
1 year ago, you weren't saying a single cuss word.
Right? Look, this one right here.
Oh, Jordan.
See, it's like she's all of a sudden is like,
yes.
Don't say the word, obviously, but what is the first letter of the word your mom has been using for cussing the most?
F. And once
and what?
And once B.
Oh, she said balloon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something about these kids. They border on they teeter-totter with the truth. They teeter-totter on the edge.
Oh, I know all about that. One thing too about, just to get back to the point you're talking about asking people like, well, who can I, I need X type of person to be in my show. Mirage, who can it be? But if someone's asking you, then you're, like you said, you're putting that person in a position of danger now. Because you're like, bro, I'm giving you to a director who doesn't even know who doesn't even have a diverse enough group of friends or experiences so you're going to go and they're probably going to do something offensive to you because they can't even find someone who looks like you, who they can contact on Facebook or in person.
How is it that you're in LA and you don't know any Black people? Just give me a break with that. For real. Yeah. You know Black people. And sometimes you can come off of this fake pedestal that you've placed yourself on because you're like, oh, I'm in this particular group that I can tell other people how they are. And you put yourself on this fake pedestal so that you can tell people that they're no good, even though, they might blow you out of the water. It's just all about opportunity. And then you're asking, but you don't know any Black people or you don't know any South Asian people, and you got to ask me who it is. And I'm going to put myself on the line and tell this person who I probably have a deep connection to, go and be vulnerable to this person who's completely oblivious to people of other colors and in the town of Hollywood.
Right.
What are you talking about? Go outside.
Right.
Like, tell a Black person, I like what you do.
Right.
Give a Black woman an opportunity. What? I'm sorry. It's not a good week. It's not a good week for me. It's not.
Yeah, it's tough. You're doing a lot. You're shouldering a lot for sure.
Well, I feel like I'm just living my life and now I'm just being open with it. I mean, you know me as much as anybody, and this is just me being public with same stuff.
Right. It is. And you have traditionally been a very private person.
I am.
Most of the time I've known you. So this is actually fun to see.
Is it though?
Can you hear the fan right now? Can you hear it through my computer?
Mm-mm. Oh, wow, Hughie.
I mean, it's fun for me because I've known you to be more reclusive.
Yeah, I don't like people getting in my business and stuff. I like to be. I protect my family and I protect those that I love, and I don't like to be fake. And I can't be fake with a whole bunch of when you have too many people. And I don't believe that everybody needs to be friends with everyone. I mean, I think that some people you get along with and some people you don't, and that's completely fine.
We were at the one of the meetings that we attended this week, where I really was just attending, but you know, it's interesting, especially I really think to your point that you made earlier about how like there is no UCB right now. There is no Second City. Like there is, I mean, PAC is out there. I really got to say, like doing a good job, like keeping shows going, promoting it, being alive. But at the same time, there is no, they're killing it. But also, there is no space right now. Like there is no. So to that regard, it was very interesting for me attending one of the meetings that we did, that you did, that I was invited to, where it really felt I really felt in that moment, as someone who wasn't part of that community, I felt in that moment the struggle of being an actor or a writer in the comedy community, because and this is something that I think I hope that people really appreciate about you, is that so many people who I saw in that meeting were still wanting to make sure that they left open the door with those communities' hired leaders so that they could go work there once all of this is over. It was very clear to me that people had really been hurt by their experiences there, and they weren't willing to just say like, fuck it, burn it to the ground, y'all fucked up, I can't believe you did that.
And here's the thing that I think this is one of the things that makes me so sad. I've been in casting rooms before, and I've been part of that process, and you have too. And we know that sometimes there are people that are about to come into a room that before they even come in, it's like, oh, this guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is like, this guy's too old. Or this guy is... you know, oh, this guy's a horrible actor. Why have you invited them to an audition?
Right.
What is going on? Like, I am the insincerity in our community is just it's making me so. It makes me feel like I have no hope for humanity. And I know there is. And I just go in and out of this. And it's just all about making a change and a difference. And it's good because these yucky feelings are what we can identify and say, this is what we need to change. But I think that the fact that this is something that's just a common thing, that we have people who are just like, this person has no chance. But then we're letting them play this little dance and do this little kind of like, yes, sir, kind of thing. We're letting them do that. And it's a demeaning act that we're allowing in this profession. And it's wrong.
Oh,
here we go. Look. Okay, here
we go. Oh.
You want to go ahead and introduce? What do you want to do? Hughie, Hughie, can you hear me?
You're coming in and out for me right now.
What does that mean? Does that mean I'm coming in and out for everybody? Uh-oh. People, please tell me.
Heard you for a second there. Yep.
What does that mean?
Hey, there you go.
Do I have to change my mic?
No, I think you're good now.
Now I said a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm sure. I heard. This is what I heard. Hughie, can you hear me?
Hughie, stonefish. Why would you do that? You're just too nice. Or what? You never
y'all can hear her the whole time?
Dang it.
I mean, I can hear you now for sure.
We don't have time to do this act right now. We got to invite our guest in. Woo! Do you want to introduce him?
Oh, I was laggy. It was me. Thank you, everyone. Dang.
Oh, thank y'all.
Yes, this is one of my best friends. We won an Emmy together, and he's brilliant, and he is responsible for so much of my growth and development as a human and as a creative person. And very honored to invite to the live stream Dwayne Colbert.
Yay!
People, what's up?
Look at that beard. I haven't seen you in a minute.
It's a sad sight, isn't it?
I like it.
I love it.
Right on.
Ooh,
How you
I
doing,
like
bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good.
Looking
Hi.
good, everybody.
it.
Mostly around for you too, Hughie. Yeah.
Family. Okay, so out of the people who contributed, who wrote on woke, raise your hand if you got an Emmy.
On Shade. If you worked on Shade, I got an Emmy.
Not woke, shade. Yeah, I said I'm bringing up old stuff. Shade. People, if you raise your hand if you got an Emmy.
Oh, I like that this is backwards. It's like it's like a mirror image. If I raise this hand on the screen, it looks for me. I love
Bro,
that.
I've been trying to part my hair the whole evening, but I'm like, I don't know which way my hair goes.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I can't help that.
Yeah.
How's it going, Dwayne? What's new? What's everything, y'all? How is it in life, and how is it being black? Has everything changed? Is everything equal out there now? And
Yeah, racism's over.
thank you.
And I'm always treated with respect everywhere I go.
That's amazing.
We all woke up. No, I mean, we've been fighting the good fight for a minute, and we're going to continue to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
We being Hughie and I, with the way we work and do our stuff, and you know that we've worked with you, and Hughie's worked with you, and there is no stop to it. I mean, just constantly trying to, with anything I get the opportunity to create, whether it be something somebody's requesting of us that they're going to produce or something we're doing on our own, we're going to make sure that people feel our point of view in some way. And our point of view is stop the madness. People are getting other eyes and isms all over the place, and we just don't need it in a productive, progressive, society that's hopefully moving forward and away from antiquated ways of thinking.
Yeah. It's this is something that people don't really know about you, is that you've been doing this for a long time. I mean, not a long time. You're very young. Black don't crack. Black don't crack. But I'm saying though that you've been fighting behind the scenes for a lot of people in this town, and that I know a lot of people really, really have seen that with you. Like a lot of people feel that with you.
Hey, what's up, Lorna? It's not something you want to go around saying, hey, I do this or I feel this way.
Right.
We really want to just say, let your actions speak for that. So whether it be teaching or consulting or producing or writing or directing or acting, whatever it is, I wanted to make sure that people feel that in what I'm doing. Not just that, I'm a decent human being, because obviously I want that, but I want them to feel like, oh, this guy has an agenda, and his agenda hopefully is felt like a progressive one, because I am straight up bleeding heart. My heart bleeds. I'm a straight up proud bleeding heart liberal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know too that and the thing is that you're not like, I don't want to, I'm using the wrong words today, cocky or whatever about it. You do it so covertly. Like I know with Shade, you wanted to come up with something where Black women were able to have a leading role. Like it's kind of like, we got these Black women who were very talented, and we're always supporting roles, or we're always the person who plays the Black woman. Yeah. Especially in comedy, it should never be that way, because you could be anybody in comedy. But you wanted to do that, and that's not what people know all the time. They don't know what happens behind this. They don't know the fight. They don't know you going and saying, I think this person is really good and blah, blah, and then them being like, no, I don't like them. And then you're like, hey, I think they should be a part of this. People don't know that. And
before we even had a storyline, we were just like, we're going to write something for Black women.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what this story is yet, but I know I'm always concerned with people's hangups about race. So I was like, well, how can we do something funny that has at least one, if not two, female leads that is about what we want to talk about? And then we started working on a narrative. It wasn't the other way around. We had this story that we had to tell, and only a Black woman could tell it. We were like, no, we're putting Black women, first and foremost. And it wasn't just Black women. It was like we wanted a Black woman and a white woman. But we also said we wanted to skewer people's misconceptions or whatever they can see about race. So
yeah,
I thought before we knew how it was gonna start or begin or end. We like women in here.
is amazing about you, Dwayne, that I really respect about you, and I said this, we got to write up about our Emmy in the Jewish Journal coming out, and I said it was really amazing because they were like, they were asking me how much did I really write on the piece of anti-Semitism, and I was like, I'm listed as a writer, and I contributed. I'm not trying to say I didn't contribute anything, but I was like, I showed up and they had written all the lyrics. Like they had done such a deep dive, and I made that to the point of saying like it was really powerful for me that I could go into a room and two people who aren't Jewish were able to write something that's so deep and so powerful and so real and earnest from the Jewish point of view, even though they're not Jewish. And the same thing with Shade, where and that's something that you helped me to do with Afros and with Shade, and Mirage helped me with this as well, was be able to, we often think like, oh, well, I'm not a black woman, I can't write a show about it. I'm not a Jew, I can't write a song about anti-Semitism. And it's like, we can. We just have to educate ourselves and do the right work. And I think you really emulate that in a beautiful way.
That actually came from you. I mean, first of all, you wrote enough on that to win an Emmy. Believe me, we wouldn't have you listed on there.
Thank you, Will.
Don't ever feel like you need to downgrade or somewhere how much I don't know, video coming through. And then just for the pieces.
Is this messing up for everybody or just me right now?
For me too.
Wait a second.
Damn.
You're stuck like this. Stuck like this. Dwayne, come back. Please, it looks like you're about to go on the slingshot.
I
like
can
that.
hear myself just fine.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
You're back.
I'm back. Great. We'll see how long it lasts. I was trying to say that I really learned, the part about doing the research or whatever from you on Afros. That really, moved me and still does to this day. The deep dive you took on approaching the subject of police brutality and educating yourself about Black Americans' plight. Yeah. So I'm like, well, if we're going to legitimately write this song about something that began in like before Jesus, as far as ridiculing and skewering and demonizing people of the Jewish faith, then we need to educate ourselves. We couldn't pass it, So God bless Neil Gargiulo, because Neil was like, he approached, I forget which society or organization, but he approached a Jewish organization. They gave us access to their library, as far as their library of images and articles and papers and whatnot. And we just went in there, man, and we educated ourselves. I learned a lot, and a lot that still haunts me to this day, because I'm like, anytime I see or hear, I already had a problem with it, but anytime now after that experience, I see or hear some kind of rift between Black community and the Jewish community, I'm like, y'all just stop it right there. You don't even know how we are all in the same plight together. And all that is just crabs in a barrel kind of thinking, or people trying to pit you against each other. It's like our struggles are so similar and so overlap, and it's all, one oppression, so to speak, generally speaking, that it's ridiculous for us to not be on the same page with each other, lifting each other up, So, and it starts with educating yourself. So my education isn't done. Not only did that, get that personal education of this project we're writing on, but the fact that you invited me to a Seder dinner before, not only at your own house, but with your family, and we got to, read from the Bible. It was just great, man. I love it.
Yeah. I feel you with that, because that's one of the reasons I wrote that article on you, Hughie, and on Afros in general, because I went over and you're like doing all this research and listening to Stevie Wonder, and I'm like, hey, who is this white boy just doing? What are you talking about? And then writing Black people get shot, and I'm just like, both y'all. I mean, it's just yes, coming from where I come from, to know that we're going to really speak it out, say it. Yeah. Say it. I mean, and we have this vehicle of comedy where you can say stuff and to use it, but it's not easy. And that's what I admire about both of you, is that you use your vehicle to make a change for other people, and not just other people just in the world, but other people in our community. And this is a hard community. This is a hard place to be.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Dwayne,
I was going to say, I still to this day, where I just had a recent student in a current class where he was talking about wanting to, he's affected by, even though he's not a person of color, he's not a woman, but he's affected by how women and of color are being treated. And he wanted to write comedy about it, but he wasn't sure and wanted to run things by me. I don't have a problem with that. It's easy for someone just to be dismissive and be like, stay in your lane. You hear that a lot, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Well, what? It's a big fucking highway. I can change lanes sometimes. And I think it's okay because the audience can feel intent. The audience knows if your intent is to mock or if you haven't educated yourself enough to well represent the subject matter or these people. So go for it is what my ultimate, advice would be. Just like get in there, educate yourself, and then express how you want to express yourself. You shouldn't let anyone, obviously we hear all the time, don't let anyone limit you, but also don't limit yourself.
Exactly. Oh, yes. And I think another thing, too, is that what we experience, you and I, Dwayne, is in the Black community, there is a lot of like competition between there are only these positions and all of that. Yeah. And then this whole, and, like we can't, there can only be this person or that person. And we're both directors. And it's like Dwayne and Mirage, whatever it is. And it's like we are able to collaborate with each other because we know we have different perspectives and we both, and like, I'm a fan of you. So I'm like, okay, let's get it. Let's make sure like, let's collaborate. Let's make something that's bigger than what I could think of and bigger than either one of us can think of by ourselves. And that's a wonderful thing because not a lot of people in our community can understand that yet. We're not there completely yet. And like, you said it's a big highway, and it is a big highway, and we can still be building the highway too. Like it doesn't have to be like this. It can be as big as we want it to be. So yeah.
When you're starting off as an actor or a writer, and this time people always tell you're enough. Bring yourself to this, and people spend years trying to figure out what that really means, and it means just that. Like when you get to certain levels where people are looking for you, because that's what you ultimately want. People looking for you. What they're looking for isn't just talent. Talent is a given. You wouldn't be part of the conversation if you didn't have talent. You're always studying, you're always learning. In this place, this time you got to always be educating yourself to become better, right? So talent. So what they're really looking for is your personality, your opinions, your worldview. So you don't have to go conjure those up. You already have them.
I say that all the time. I'm always saying that when people are like, oh, you gotta go find yourself. And I'm like, you don't have to go and see a dead body and travel to Italy and get a divorce. And you don't have to do all of that. Yeah. That is exactly what it is. It doesn't take you 6 years. You just have to understand that part of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do want to ask you and something that I mean, I keep talking about things that I respect about you, but I only have respect for you. But I'll still preface it with that. But something that I really respect about you is I know that in comedy theaters across LA, and specifically where we met in Second City, people really look to you as someone who has a powerful voice with positive change. And I wonder what you like. What do you make of what's going on right now with the theaters, and the town halls, and everything?
Initially, if you'd asked me that a few months ago, I'd have been like, it's a difficult time. But now I would say it's an awesome time for these theaters to be examining, not just theaters, obviously, but that's what matters to us, these comedy theaters, our community, to be examining past behaviors and their future existence. I love that this movement is about accountability moving forward. Like it's not enough to just give us lip service, put up or whatever. People are saying that all the time. That's not enough. You got to do more. Well, you're hearing that and feeling that now in higher up spaces that we weren't reaching before. Spaces where you can have change. So I'm excited about the change. I got to say though, it's a little bit of me is pulling back after being so involved for so long and have it falling on so many deaf ears that a part of me is like, well, let me see how y'all do. Let me see what you do and then see if you really are inclusive before I chime in with my 2 cents. Because maybe people are done hearing from me. Maybe my opinion is out there enough already, but we want to hear others' opinions. I don't want to drown out the conversation of people who haven't been heard or anything like that. So let me sit back and do a lot of listening. And hopefully there's some real change coming about in some real ways in places where we've invested a lot of time, effort, money, love, gas, foot traffic, all that. We put in people a lot, so we want some of that back in spades. And again, not just for us, not just for us. I feel like we've had our time to be on stage doing our thing, and making our way when it comes to that comedy theater part of it, right? That aspect of this business part of it. So let's make sure that it's an environment where the people behind us won't feel as much of it. It's a lofty goal to say we're going to stomp out racism.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It shouldn't be a goal because you got to reach, right? But as far as me having realistic expectations, I hope that at the very least, people won't even feel 90% of what we felt. They'd be shocked if they heard the stories we told. I would.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I've seen some real changes, or at least the talk of real changes, but it's hard when we're not open. When we do open back up and we start to, get down to the rubber hits the road kind of thing, we'll see what goes on these stages, who's running these places, how are things being evaluated, who's teaching, what are the student body like? Does the student body have a say? We want to know. We want to see when that all shakes out, how it works out.
Yeah.
I am curious also about your new gig, bro. I think a lot of people listening would be happy to know about it and what you've been up to. I mean, it's pretty dope, and you're doing something really cool, and it's incredible. So
I wish I could say more about it. The most I could say is that it's for Cartoon Network.
Woo!
Woo! That's dope.
I'll say, I don't know if I can say that. I was going to say what it was, but based on a graphic novel series, that's what I'll say. It's specials, not necessarily a series, but a series of specials based on a graphic novel series. The most I can say.
Amazing. That's amazing. And
is it amazing? This creator is like, the room is just three of us. It's the creator, one of my friends from Second City, Carolee Burke, who recommended me for the job, and then me. So it's already starting off really great. But he's really like open as far as, how he's running this room. So he's running this room in a way where we, Carolee and I'm speaking of her, I'm pretty sure she feels this way, have no problem speaking our mind, have no problem making the changes you make or offering up suggestions. It's just very collaborative is what I'll say. So that's
great.
Rare. So it's to be celebrated. It's that this is a rare opportunity, and it's a rare room, and it's just, and I will say this, we did recently, yesterday, had a meeting with on diversity and inclusion at Cartoon Network. And this is someone that is not an outside company, but they may have even started with an outside company, but these people work within Cartoon Network on all their shows, speaking about diversity and inclusion, not just speaking about it, but bringing stats, bringing realistic numbers, looking at our show that we're working on, looking at the Bible behind that show, the short that was created for that show that's turning into the series, and saying, hey, just making sure, and we're here for a ongoing resource to say, are we looking and thinking the right way about including people?
That's great. That's so great. And this is like where the universe comes together and does the right thing. And then you're just like, okay, all right. We are going to make it through coronavirus, because this stuff does happen, because you are a hustler and you've been hustling for a while. I mean, like I stay up with ideas. And I always think that, like, who does this? You do it. You stay up with the ideas, and you are always thinking, and you're always collaborating, and all of that. So,
for all my writers on this
good thing,
tell y'all right now, always be thinking of that next shit. And what I mean by next shit is, don't look at what's on television and say, okay, I need to do that. I need to do that. No. Look at television and movies, absorb the history of television and movies, and be like, okay, I have an idea of how we got to where we are today. Now, how would I make the future? What is the future? What's not there? What needs to be there? So not parroting what's already there. Be like, if I were in control, how would I do this bad boy? And that's what we bring. Yeah.
And you have to sometimes get away from the noise to do that, because the noise is what stops you sometimes. Like, you got to be like in yourself and be in that crazy place that we put ourselves as comedians, where things don't make sense and we can't do brain surgery, but we think we can. And then we're just like, okay, what is the next thing? So that's
what's bothering me. What pisses me the fuck off? Like, what really gets under me, and then how can I flip that so that it's accessible to people?
And I always say too, what is it that I don't want people to see about myself? Like, what is it that I don't want to share about myself? Because that's probably what I need to be talking about, and what other people don't want to share about themselves too.
Well, you're brave. Yeah, I love that. That is some brave stuff.
That's new. That's brand new.
No, thank you. No, thank you for me, but respect to you.
Brand new.
I'm gonna keep those just private to myself. No,
what's funny though, Hughie, is that I love the two answers or two responses to that, because I love that Mirage is brave enough to put herself out there and say, like, how can I show this in a real authentic way? People will feel this vulnerability through the work. You're saying no thank you to that. But what probably ends up happening is that without you even consciously knowing it sometimes, those kind of things probably come out of your work. I bet if we were to look back and pinpoint it, be like, ooh, look at what you're talking about. Look at what you're exploring.
Definitely. Yep. Yeah, where is your heart in this stuff that you don't want to
way,
Mm-hmm.
That's really true.
Yeah.
Really true.
I want to acknowledge Shakara.
Yeah, shout out to Kara. I saw her in there too. We gotta get in here.
Hey. We see you. Yeah.
Dwayne, I want to ask you too, seeing as how we're both Emmy winners.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do
Lou Berger always. We're both Emmy, and as Lou Berger always jokes, we're also both Emmy losers. We won an which I think is very funny. How do you think that has, like, what impact has that had on your life? Did it help you get the job? Does it have any influence?
I will say this. That is still an ongoing question, but so far, positive.
Yeah.
It's definitely a legitimacy that comes with knowing that the people who nominate or choose the nominations, nominate, and then choose winners are your peers, are other people who are professionals doing this, that haven't started just yesterday, right? So that means something.
Right.
The fact that you get some sort of tap to say, he's been vetted. Yeah. Because that's a big deal to be able to say that. I like that it's for writing. I like that it's an original song. I like that you and I are involved with something that was an original song that was comedic and still meant something to people, and it got out there to the world. That's amazing to me. But it's definitely meant something. I can't say what specific ways, but only because I can't share a lot. But it's definitely that, like, people say you can use that as a calling card. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely can. Yeah. It may mean nothing to other people, because it may be, there are people out there who've won multiple. I mean, that means nothing to them, whatever. They want to know, like, let me hear more about you or your whatever, or your work or something like that. So they may not, give a shit about that kind of thing. And not that I'm sitting around having a career hoping to get trophies. That's not it either. That came as a surprise to both of us. But it is helpful. It's nothing but helpful.
We should tell the story of where at least when I found out that we were nominated for an Emmy was, bro, when you called me. It's for everyone who's listening. Dwayne called me to tell me that we were nominated for an Emmy, and I had basically forgotten that we even submitted for an Emmy. Right. It was not on my radar at all. I was like, wait, what? Emmy? A real? And then I didn't think it was a real Emmy. I thought it was like some other type of
literally you was like for real, bro. Like you have to check. You check the listing, because I had to look at the official Emmy thing to make sure we were nominated. He's like, can you just check that before I say anything? I'm like, yeah. I know that is real. Right.
Yeah, I texted with Lou Berger, and I was like, yeah, it's an Emmy, but whatever. It's like a date. And Alex like, Hughie, that's an Emmy, bro. Like, you can call it an Emmy. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's no separate qualifier for it being a daytime Emmy. All that really means is that they wanted the separation on, because there is different writing, and there's things within professional unions that separate these things too, as far as things that are written for, between certain hours of it airing and other hours, because, there are young people who may not be have access, or you don't want to have access to some of the things that are happening in the primetime Emmy nominating categories. So it makes sense.
Right.
So what was the process? Yeah, I've been here the whole time. What was the process for getting into to get into the project? How did y'all get into this project?
Neil Gargiulo. I mean, Neil and I knew of Neil from Dr. God at I.O., right? That's a super group that was an improv group that was at I.O. called Dr. God. So I knew those guys because I'd seen, I want to say, hundreds of their shows. And they were a big freaking deal. And I wanted to improvise like them. So I met one of the members, BLC, because he was a private instructor I had hired for improv. I studied, like me and this other guy studied Prov under BOC for like 6 months straight every week, that kind of thing. And then, so I knew those guys and I knew their names, but I didn't know of them. So when I was on a improv team at what was the Nerdist School that became the Ruby Theater LA, I am on a team called Shortstop, and Neil was on that team. So I really got to know him when I got on a team with him, where we had one night after a show, what we like to call, a lot of us like to call collectively a Neil night, where you just hang out all night after a show, going to different restaurants and bars. And at the end of the night, you'd be like, wow, that was a Neil experience. Because everywhere you go in Hollywood, Neil's like the mayor. He knows everyone. They got to talk to Neil. And he just really was a good time. And he, in retrospect, in reflection afterwards, he told me that he's had the same kind of feeling after that night. He was like, I knew we were going to work together. So when Neil had his ideal, and this is after he sold it already to Funny or Die, he immediately within that pitch meeting or something like that said to them, I have someone I want to bring on. And I think that was before he even approached me about it. So that was really great. And then when we had our first meeting about it, I was like, dude, I know who would be perfect for this show, my buddy Wayne. So we kept talking about the show, and he circled back, was like, wait a minute, your friend Wayne, like, who is this you're talking about? I was like, Wayne Brady. He was like, wait, what? So that got us really going with, me not just being a writer, but being a producer on it too, and all this other stuff. So it was really Neil. So when we got to the point where we're in our third episode, and we wanted someone who was like, could bring it, not, bring the musically inclined, could rap, and has a proud Jewish heritage, because that for me was a stickler. I wanted somebody who was like, wanted to do this. I immediately thought of you. I was like, Hughie Stonefish. Like, I think your name even came up, and we kind of moved on, and he was throwing out other names or whatever. But I was like, yeah, but Hughie though, you know what I mean? Like, just know, Hughie, that you were in the same conversation as the Beastie Boys. You just know that.
What? That's great. That's the thing that I love about both of you is that what is happening with this. Y'all hear that echo?
I do.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to do about it. One thing I love about the both of you is that there's a family. There's always our family feel. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like I'm doing this and then I'm going to show them. It's all like, I know who else. And it's always like, well, here's Hughie. Hughie's part of this, or Dwayne's part of this, or whatever. It's all family. And that is so necessary here, because so many of us are displaced from our families. And
you can easily get jaded by the thought that Hollywood has so much nepotism, that you immediately go, oh, well, they just like working with their friends and family. But then when you go through comedy theaters and people in the trenches with you, you'd be like, well, they get me. I only want to work with people who get me, and I know I can count on them. That's a huge deal, to be able to count on someone who can bring it. That is Hollywood. So they happen to be people who are friends and family. And with Afros, we, the cast called it the reunion tour because, that Second City had at the time this unspoken philosophy of moving you out, because I guess in Chicago and Toronto, they want you to move on to do better things. So this is hierarchy of making to one of the resident stages, and then beyond that, get out of here and go be awesome so we can celebrate you more, right? I'll keep a positive spin on it. In LA, that kind of model didn't work for me, where you moving people out and there is no resident stage for them to aspire to beyond going through the conservatory, so they would go to other theaters. So we're like, wait, these are some talented people out there who we should be celebrating, and they should be part of this awesome project, that kind of thing. So I'm always looking for people like, who do I know? You know what I mean? Like my buddy Kyle McGrath and I started this small little production company where one of the things that the people who have been the companies that have been working with us, one of the things they said about us was that, wow, you guys have a lot of resources, and those being human resources, not the things that we have as far as equipment and all that, but like you have a lot of resources as far as who within this community that can bring it,
Absolutely. Yeah. And that it makes such a big difference, because one thing that we don't come into it like is, oh, this person can do this for me, and this person owes me something. It's like, I'm a fan of this person, and we're fans of each other. So it's an equal, it's a reciprocated relationship. It's like, I'm a fan of you, and I'm a fan of you. Will you work with me? Oh my gosh, you will? Yes, let's do this. And then you have that energy, and you have that love, and you have that feeling. And I always talk about the fact of allowing, the reason that it's not this nepotism or this cronyism is the fact that we are always looking at potential of other people. Like maybe they don't have the same kind of experience and maybe they don't have it, but we have this ability to say, let's give them an opportunity to fail. If they fail, then that's what happens, but you have the same opportunity.
Yeah. And plus, a lot of people helped me that I'll never forget that. So I always want to be helping people. I'm like, well, somebody helped me. I wouldn't have all these opportunities if somebody didn't literally think of me. So I'm trying to always think of others because of that.
I think it's interesting too, and we got to close it out here too. Our amazing producer Jessica's keeping us posted on time, which I appreciate.
Super producer.
She helped us out with some amazing Afro stuff post. But anyway, one thing that's really interesting in terms of nepotism and that we're looking at, right now, that we're all looking at is like, how do you celebrate these types of connections that are beautiful? This is my friend. I know that I can trust Dwayne. Dwayne knows he can trust me. I know I can trust Mirage, et cetera, et cetera. But also, how do you look at other people who are way in power and be like, I know that that's all your homies and you can trust each other, but like, it's not diverse enough. Like you're excluding a lot of people. You know what I mean? You're now, because of this same thing, like, so it's that balance of like, how do we make it all happen? I feel like that's what we're working on right now.
Well, our talent, your talent gets you in the right conversations. So you got to keep working, keep grinding. Yes. No one's going to listen to you unless you're bringing it. And I mean,
yes,
you're bringing it every single time. You're only as good as the last thing you produce or put out to the world, as far as Hollywood's concerned. So if we're always bringing it, then that will get you more conversations. That will get us more, leeway. That's the juice. Is just like, I know that this person's always going to bring it. That absolutely. I mean, that's it right there.
That's absolutely it. I totally agree. You have to always be at the top of your game and be somebody that people can't deny. You can't well, I can't say that Dwayne isn't hilarious. So, it's
our community and those comedy theaters to let us fall first, to let us do terrible stuff and bad jokes and horrible characters and, disjointed writing that we can't follow, so we can get to a place where we are not that anymore, So I love those places for that, because it's a great training ground to allow ourselves to be bad.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that we're fighting so much, because we know other people are going to come through that. And we had the opportunity to fail. And sometimes the stuff that we're fighting for is the fact that we were the ones that got the opportunity and we saw other people that weren't able to do it.
I'm fighting because I was able to go on stage for a year straight during an improv scene and initiate a scene by throwing a chair on the ground. Worse. John Ryan roasted me about that just the other day. He's like, bro, I remember you there for like 3 months straight. But I was allowed to do that. I was allowed to get up there and do shitty improv for all that time and make it up,
Do you remember Food Prov? I almost threw up. It smelled so bad in there. Yes. All I have is to say I love you so much, and I'm so happy that this is all turning out for you, because it means that coronavirus will end and you deserve it. And God is actually real, and it's a woman. So.
Well, I love that you guys are doing this, though. Keeping the community spirit alive, bringing in people, hopefully, that can, contribute to the conversation. Keeping that community spirit alive while we're all separated is a big deal. You can feel like we're on an island. We're already in LA, so you already feel like you're on an island. And then the pandemic, and then being in Hollywood. So all these things that are keeping us separate, you guys are bringing us together. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Love you, man. Thank you for being here.
I'm gonna play us out. I can't put the other song on, Hughie Stonefish, so this is how I'm playing us out.
I'll just sing Accountability over it.
Oh, where can we find? You can find me on Instagram at dcolbert01, and you can find me on Twitter at just like Steven.
Yes, and he's going to be
Emmy award-winning Dwayne Colbert.
So many things.
Yes, the lovely and talented Mirage Brown.
Hey, I love you.
Yes, love you guys. And thanks for the comments. I see all those comments came up from Reddit. Lorna and Chris Chovador, you guys are awesome. I love you guys.
Oh, okay. And we're gonna wave out, and Dwayne, you're gonna stay here because we don't know how to end our things properly. So we're gonna wave like we're fake leaving, but we're gonna stay in here and talk.
Okay, cool.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. That's just where I go.